What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Arrival Entertainment, and today we're going to be talking about Dune, the new film adaptation from Frank Herbert's original classic novel. Dune is the newest adaptation of the original novel by Frank Herbert. It stars a whole bunch of talented actors and is directed by my favorite director working today, Denis Villeneuve. And I'm actually not going to describe the plot of this movie for a few reasons. Number one, I feel like you guys should know absolutely nothing besides what the trailers have been showing going into this movie. And number two, it's pretty complicated, and me describing the plot might just be the entire video, so I don't want the whole video to just be me talking about just the plot of this movie, so just go into the movie just knowing what the trailers have shown you. Despite not knowing anything about the original book or any of the other adaptations that have been made, I was still really pumped to see this movie just because of Denis Villeneuve. This guy has made some of my favorite movies in modern time: Enemy, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, just to name a few. And yeah, I knew this movie was going to be at least good just because his name is involved with this movie. This guy has never let me down. Oh, and Sicario. Sicario is another one of my favorites of his. In fact, I was so excited to see this movie that I did something I normally don't ever do when I go into a movie like this. My original plan before seeing this movie was to check out the original film from 1984, the extended version of that original film in this nice little steelbook that I got, the 2000 miniseries from, I forgot who put this out, but this is the director's cut, so it's like 4.5 hours long, and then Children of Dune, the sequel to that miniseries. My plan was to watch all of those so I get a general idea on what to expect going into this movie, but then I decided at the last minute, nope, I'm not going to do that. I just want to go into this film completely blind. It's not a continuation of any of those adaptations. This is a brand new, rebooted adaptation of the original book, so I didn't want to know anything going into this film. And I've heard some discussion before the movie premiered, like, should you know anything about the original book? Should you watch any of the adaptations before seeing this new movie? Are you going to be completely confused if you don't? Are you going to be fine if you don't? Well, if you were worried about that, let me just say that I knew absolutely nothing about the story, and going in completely blind was probably the best decision I made for this film. I left the theater so happy. Denis Villeneuve did it again. I loved absolutely everything about this movie, and I'm not just saying that because I was really pumped to see this movie and he's my favorite director working today. I've seen a lot of his films and none of them have let me down. No, I went into this film just wanting it to be good, and it blew me away because it was much better than good. It was fantastic. It is probably the best movie I've seen this year. And that's saying a lot because there's been some pretty good movies this year. Right off the bat, the first thing that blew me away in this movie, even when I saw the trailers, not just in the film itself, but even in the trailers, was the brilliant art design, the effects, the whole scope of the movie. It is a big, epic movie, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. The cinematography just made my eyes explode. It's such a gorgeous film. Just by watching the trailers, I knew that was going to be the case, but it still surprised me and blew me away when I actually saw the whole entire film. And I'm going to call it right now, this is probably the best special effects I have ever seen in a film. Nothing stood out. Everything blended together perfectly. It's like you were actually watching real events going on in this film. Because a lot of times with sci-fi films, it's like there's a couple shots here and there that don't always blend together very well. Like, I love the effects in the new Star Wars movies. Obviously, not so much the prequels. The original films, the original Star Wars trilogy, there's effects that do stand out, despite the fact that 90% of them are mostly seamless. But for the new Star Wars films, it was like near perfect. But there were a couple times here and there in the movies where it's like, that kind of stands out a little bit. Nothing stood out in Dune. We have reached such an amazing time when it comes to special effects that something like Dune looks real. Like, it looks actually real. Like I said, it's like you're actually watching real events happen on screen. Now, obviously, I haven't read the book because, like I said, I went in completely blind with this movie, but I have heard some reactions of fans who have read the book and said that this is probably the most faithful adaptation of Dune you will ever get. And so that alone just makes me happy because I do plan on reading the book soon. And, I've heard a lot of things about the original film, and there was even a Dune movie that was supposed to come out in like the 70s that some people labeled the best movie never made. So, but I have heard a lot of things of people saying, Dune is impossible to make into a film, and that's one of the reasons why, from what I've heard at least, haven't seen it yet, the 1984 David Lynch Dune isn't really well received by fans. But now, because of how advanced filmmaking has become, we can live in a world where if you get the right people involved, you can make a damn great adaptation of Dune, and this adaptation of Dune is damn great. Denis Villeneuve's vision for this film, like, you can tell just by watching it that he is a fan of the source material, but he is a fan of filmmaking. This is not just a big sci-fi epic. It's a well-crafted, put-together film. Denis Villeneuve, his vision for this movie is so great, and I obviously wouldn't want to see any other director do this film. He found a good balance between big epic sci-fi-ness like we saw in the trailers and art house film. Like, it's at the point where if a normal film goer who isn't like film savvy, I guess I want to say, like I am, just a normal moviegoer can go into this movie and not get bored with some of the more artsy political stuff in this film, but they'll still be very much entertained by the big sci-fi actionness, and there's not really a whole lot of that. It's used, there's a lot in there, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's nothing in there completely, but it's not overblown like, say, the Transformers films are, where it's like annoying action. No, the action is used very, very wisely, I guess. It's not every 10 minutes, it's not just at the ending and in the beginning. It's used perfectly throughout the movie. The movie is actually paced very well too. That's another thing I was surprised about. There's a lot of political talk in this movie, and there's a lot of sci-fi words, I guess is the best I could say, that is used in this movie that I was a little worried about going in, because I thought it would be too much. I thought it would be too boring, or a lot of the stuff would just go completely over my head and I would get lost. But I was surprisingly not lost with this film. Like I said, it was paced very well. It was to the point where someone like me who knows nothing, who hasn't read the book, hasn't seen any other adaptation, watched this film and followed it pretty well. I'm obviously going to go see it again because there's a couple things here and there I might have missed, and you always pick up more things on movies when you go see them a second time instead of just the first time. But I can't stress enough how well paced and well put together this film was. On top of that, we got some really damn good performances from the main actor, Timothée Chalamet, I think is how you pronounce his name. Zendaya, you don't see a lot of Zendaya in the movie, but the time she is in the movie is very good. Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, which I honestly didn't know was in this movie. Everyone is on their top level acting in this film. And Denis Villeneuve, he does a good job directing actors. So, yeah, I could see some nominations in this film just for the acting. I mean, obviously this film is going to get nominated for some awards because, my God, this movie is just incredible that they pulled it off. I'm actually still surprised and shocked that this film is as good as it is. Hearing all the stories about how it was considered impossible to make a Dune adaptation into a film, now we're here and it's good. In fact, it's better than good. It's great. It's amazing to me that they actually pulled it off this time around. And thank God I saw, before I went to see the movie, thank God I saw that they did confirm a sequel. It's supposed to come out in October 2023. Thank God they confirmed it. It did well enough to make a sequel, because if I didn't know that going in, or let's say they still didn't announce a sequel yet, or maybe they weren't going to announce a sequel, let's say they didn't do a sequel at all, I would be pissed. Because the movie does end, no spoilers, the movie does end on openly. It's an open ending. And if I would have saw that knowing we weren't going to get a sequel, I would be pissed. But thank God I saw that we are going to get a sequel, because I am very excited to see the story continue. I am very happy about this film. I'm glad Denis Villeneuve did it again. If it didn't already prove to me that Denis Villeneuve is my favorite director working today, and quite possibly my favorite director of all time, Dune absolutely confirmed it. Everything about this film was at a level 10. The music was great. I forgot to mention the music. The music is outstanding. It's one of a kind. It's perfect for this film. The cinematography, like I said, the effects, the acting, the costumes, the whole production design, the art direction, everything in this film is at a level 10. I can't be any happier with this film. And of course, it's Oscar worthy. I mean, how can it not? They actually pulled off a great adaptation of Dune. Granted, I haven't seen the miniseries. A lot of people say the miniseries is really great too. And yeah, now that I've seen the film, I'll go ahead and watch those other adaptations. But for my money, I said this to my friend, and I'll say it here now, Dune is, in my opinion, the next Lord of the Rings. I know I said that for The Green Knight, and while The Green Knight is very Lord of the Ring-esque, at least it felt like it had Lord of the Ring aspects to it, Dune is more of it. Dune is more of a mix of Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. So if that interests you and you don't know anything about Dune, then absolutely go see Dune. But for my money, I stand by this film in the future is going to be the next Lord of the Rings. So guys, that's my review for Dune. Like I said earlier, I can't be any happier with this film. I can't wait to see the film again this weekend. I'm excited that we're going to get a sequel. I want to see the story continue. So guys, let me know in the comment section what you thought of Dune. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you think that I overpraised this film a little too much? Whatever your thoughts on everything is, let me know down in the comment section. And just like always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I got more videos planned very soon, so look forward to that. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and share it. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, take care.